Welcome to my third round game in a classical chess tournament here in Denmark. I'm still adjusting my uploading schedule, so I'm deeply sorry for myself that I haven't followed my heart completely. But thank you for contributing to that and following my chess journey nevertheless. I am offering you the best information that is there available to online chess enthusiasts trying over the board chess, like for the first or 10th time. It's still a pretty similar experience. So let's get more experience and let's get to it. My opponent here is Jan Rio, uh, who hasn't played chess for 15 years. 15 years. So let's dive right into the game. My opponent plays knight to f3, which is called the ready opening. Now, my opponent does not commit pawns to the center, but rather a non-committal one like knight to f3. My opponent is still trying to find his chess opening. Don't lie to me, you do that as well. You're trying to find a chess opening that beats your beginner friends, a gambit that wins in 6 moves, right? Well, no, we don't do that here. These opponents in over-the-board chess, they know all of this stuff. They will not fall into it. So that's why I will play d5 here. Commit d4, knight to f6, while copying also a good strategy. Well, my opponent now does not follow the principles of chess and develop out the bishop, but rather blocks in with e3. Now, this is called the Colley system, but this is not in any stretch of the imagination fighting for an advantage. My opponent could have played c4, Queen's Gambit the, style, so e6, g3, and this would be the Catalan opening. This is Magnus Carlsen's favorite chess opening. Wow, you know something now, huh? You know how to play the Catalan. Knight to c6, castles, and after bishop e7, white would play queen c2, apply pressure to this pawn. Well, not right now, it's hanging, so probably just play this on and you're good to go. You're good to go. But what happened was after e3, I played c5. Oh yeah, you know a good opening move is good when you can just sacrifice a pawn in the opening. Well, the idea would be to play e6, and if b4 trying to defend this, then a5, just apply pressure. And they cannot defend this like this, because then they would lose the rook. And they also cannot defend this with the other pawn, because then you play b6 and apply even more pressure. So this is a very nice idea that you can beat your opponents with. Get a better position by just attacking their queenside pawns that they're just pushing. So did I know this during the game? Of course not. That's why I played knight to c6. Now my opponent could play a3 and start defending this, but he probably didn't like my position that I had 2 pieces more developed than his. So, but the chess computers, which know all the best moves in the position, say that b4 here would have been a pretty solid move for white. Good position, up a pawn, restricting queenside play. So yeah, a5 here now would not work because of b4. So yeah, he instead goes for bishop b5, trying to castle on this side. So I go bishop g4, doing all the same. He sees my bishop and attacks it. Now there is a concept in chess that says you should not trade off a bishop for a knight unless there is a reason to do so. Right now, if he takes with this g pawn, it will damage the structure. That would be good, but he would develop the queen off the back rank and apply pressure to this pawn. So that's why I trade off the bishop for the knight and allow the queen to develop off the back rank. Now, why did I do that? Because time matters in chess. I play queen a5 check, forcing the knight to c3 to defend this bishop. So I would have had to play a slow move like e6 and get this pawn and castle and argue that my structure is better. 2 pawns here instead of white's only pawn. So, but I played knight to e4. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to go for the cheese. Now, what does cheese mean? Cheese is a term in chess that basically means to go for the tricks. So the idea was just to, like, maybe win this bishop, but there is the check here, and maybe I wanted to win this pawn like this, but I was hoping that he would not find bishop d2, pinning the knight to the queen. So, yeah. But there is also this one line that I have to show you. I have to show this line. He could have played bishop d2, which is the best move. And this would go for the cheese for me, because if I take this, he would not take with the king. This would be insane. He would play queen takes d5, leaving the knight there, and it's still trapped. The knight still cannot go back. But why can we not defend this knight like this? Attacking the queen and defending the knight. But there is bishop takes c6 check. And after this, the rook has to block. There will be long castles, ignoring everything and applying pressure to this rook here. This would be checkmate. So that's why it is winning for white. But that's not what he saw. He castled, and we reached into this position. And I flicked in a knight check because I was arguing that this would be better for black, that white would be pretty much passive here. In this line, if I just take, the queen and the bishop would look at my play, look at my pawns here. So I go for this. And rook after c1, he's going for a c4 move. That is indicated because he just tries to move the rook here. So I play e5 here, and after a3, I thought the idea was to go b4 until I looked deeply into the position and I saw that I could not develop my bishop easily because I would lose castling rights, or I would lose the bishop entirely. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't autoplay your moves. Think of attacks. Checks captures attacks. So the attack here would be very good. So instead I play queen b6, getting out of the way. And here I was hoping that he would not play c4. c4 is an all-time best move in this position, getting my structure, opening up the rook. And if I, for example, play bishop d6, now this pawn would be very weak. This pawn would be very weak and my position would be worse. But instead, he played bishop c3. Now, bishop c3 just completely rocked me out of this rook. This makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to defend my pawn here and castle, because the bishop c3 you're just stopping the car in the middle of the road and going out for a smoke break. You're not completely you're not completely going for an advantage here. You're blocking in your rooks. There is no point. Like Gary Gasparov himself would just jump out of his seat and just slap you, not with hands but with words, just completely enraged. What is this bishop c3 move? So what happens is I just defend, and after something like b4, he played b4 here. Well, it's the best move, but I castle and now I'm out of danger. So he plays king to h1. This just feels like a fever dream. What is he doing? He's completely not going for an advantage. Is he going for rook g1? Well, I go rook a to e8, and he doesn't play rook g1. Wasn't this the point of king h1? Goes queen f, queen g4, hoping that I will blunder checkmate in one. What? So that's what happens when my opponent has not played chess for 15 years. He's trying to catch me off guard. But I play f5, getting tempo, and he just goes back. He's just visibly frustrated in this position. I just saw that. I saw that in his eyes. So I go forward to d4. Now d4 is a nice move because I thought now the queen and the bishop are both hanging. Well, there is queen c4 check. Commentator's curse. Queen c4 check. Well, I didn't see that. He plays bishop d2. I go e4, trying to get out, push my pawns forward. and I lose the pawn on c4 with queen c4 check and queen takes d4. I was like, oh man, I lost the pawn. Well, I gotta go for counterplay, and he blunders it. He plays c4, and now bishop e5. I pin the rook in the corner, and I immediately go for a queen trade. Queen trade, forcing a queen trade because the rook will also be hanging. So takes. Now a rook for a rook against a bishop would be a borderline winning endgame. In some positions not, but I decided to go for an endgame. He plays bishop c3. That's what I hoped for. Bishop d4. No, he doesn't go for bishop d4 because now the bishop is pretty active looking at all these pawns. But when he plays c5, look at this bishop. It's blocked behind these pawns. And that's what I thought would be pretty bad. Now I go for rook d8, get the open file. Rook f7, activate the rook, get under the second rank. King g8, move forward. White tries to move forward. Why? Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he really do to not push these pawns. He's not pushing these pawns. My pawn is like this. So he's trying to open up with f4, and now I go for the secret move en passant because I'm trying to open up my rooks on this line. I go to king e6, probably marching forward to take these pawns. So he goes forward. I play rook d5, defending this and then going this way. Very nice idea. He goes king f1. I move the king out of the way. And here I was like, oh, there is a secret idea here. He's totally gonna fall for it. He's gonna fall for it. Because when he tries to move the king up, look for pins. Rook takes d4. Oh my goodness me. Rook takes d4, and he was like, oh, 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 no way. No way. He just blundered the bishop, takes the pawn, and now I get out of the way. This is just too much. Two rooks against the one rook. He's completely winning. He had so much time to think here, and he just didn't have enough experience. Now the moves don't really matter. It's just upper rook. Yep, I just won this game. Wasn't this wow? I won this game all because he blundered this bishop to e5. He could have applied more pressure by just playing the rook. Maybe yeah, rook a to b1 here. Best moment going for c5 later. So yeah, that's just something that happens. He doesn't even have a rating. He says that he hasn't played chess for 15 years. Well, it happens. You can get only better if you play more games. So thank you for watching this video. I am still going to readjust my schedule, pump out the round 4 and 5 videos, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. You're a legend.